Sonic Triple Trouble was the first 8-bit Sonic game that was exclusively made for the Game Gear, and did not have a Sega Master System version, and this was a very good thing for Game Gear owners because instead of having a game originally made with a better resolution for the Master System, and then cropping it to hell and porting it over to a handheld with a small screen, instantly making it worse. Sonic Triple Trouble was developed with the Game Gear screen resolution in mind, making for a far better handheld experience. And for me, it's the best of all the 8-bit Sonics. First off, the game looks really good, and the slowdown issue from Sonic Chaos has been solved. I guess they just didn't fully realize how to optimize games that use greater visual detail, so thankfully that happened. Plus, the controls seem to have been improved as well, and things definitely feel smoother. They were already feeling less stiff in Chaos, but the annoying slowdown definitely hampered that improvement. Also, Sonic and Tails are both playable like in the previous game Sonic Chaos. Sonic once again has his super peel out, just like he did in Sonic Chaos, and more famously Sonic CD, and Tails is able to fly. They actually get to have their own exclusive vehicles. Sonic gets to use his jetboard in one stage, and Tails gets to use his submarine, the Sea Fox, in another. What happened to this badass submarine, by the way? It was featured prominently in the Archie comics and was used to lead Tails on his own solo adventure miniseries, and we would see it once more in the Game Gear game Tails Adventure. How cool would it have been to see this thrown in as a bonus in Tails' playthrough in Sonic Mania or Superstars? So one thing I love about the story is the instruction manual actually acknowledging Mobius, which may be why the box art illustrates Eggman in his Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog aesthetic to my absolute delight. There's also mention of one of Eggman's assistants making a mistake and 5 other Chaos Emeralds fly all over the planet. Is this Snively? Well, Eggman only had one assistant, so who could it be? I really wish they gave a name to confirm this. I'm a little bit confused by what's written in the instruction manual though, because in the intro cutscene we see Knuckles stealing the Chaos Emeralds with Eggman in possession of one of them. So did they go looking for the emeralds? I really don't quite understand this, because you'll need to find these Chaos Emeralds again in the special stages. So did Knuckles put them in the special stages? I think there was a bit of an oversight here with this story, to say the least. And somehow, some way, Eggman has tricked Knuckles again into helping him thwart Sonic and Tails. Dear Lord, it hasn't even been a year since Sonic 3 was released, and Knuckles has already been tricked again, and it wouldn't be the last time. And a new character, Fang, is introduced, who is his own independent character, and is a treasure hunter, and is not contracted by Eggman like in Superstars, but rather is out to find the Chaos Emeralds for his own capital gain. I like having a character who solely wants to profit off the emeralds instead of being interested in harnessing their power. Now, the funny thing is, you might not even see Fang until the final level if you choose not to go after the Chaos Emeralds. His boss fights are exclusive to just the special stages, and before we get into the actual stages of the game, we'll talk about these special stages and the unique way you go about entering them and obtaining the Chaos Emeralds. And there's only 5 to get this time, because just like in all the 8-bit Sonic games so far, we're still following the Chaos Emerald continuity of Sonic 1 on the Genesis. The 6th emerald doesn't need to be collected because Eggman still has it in his possession. Also, unlike in Sonic Chaos, Tails can actually enter the special stages and collect the emeralds this time around. So in the 8-bit versions of Sonic 1 and 2, you just straight up found the emeralds hidden throughout the levels of the game. In Sonic Chaos, you had to enter the special stages by collecting 100 rings and transporting to them, and then actually performing gameplay that was actually like the zones you were already playing, which really set it apart from the console games, which had you playing gimmicky special stages that were quite different than the main game. This time around, they've incorporated a semblance of all these ideas and rolled them into one, and it kinda works, to a frustrating degree. So you'll need to collect 50 rings and find a Chaos Emerald monitor hidden throughout the levels, and then break it to reveal a cluster of stars that you jump into to enter a special stage. Once inside, you'll either have to make your way through one of these 3 temple stages, which are in the normal 2D format, and these are timed and tricky. The first one is simple enough, but there's no way you're going to figure out what you need to do the first time on the other 2. Especially the third and final one. Oh dear lord, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Once you complete the first 2D special stage, you'll move back and forth between this 2D gameplay to these pseudo 3D flying stages that see you collecting 80 rings. And these are pretty simple, no complaints here, although the controls are as stiff as a board. But the margin of error for collecting rings is very lenient compared to the absolute prude that is the Sonic Advance 3 special stages when it comes to tight ring counts. So I am very pleased by this, and you only have to do this 2 times. At the end of all 5 special stages, you'll confront Fang, although in the first stage, he'll basically defeat himself with a flawed trap. Getting the 5th and final emerald is fucking horrendous, and let me tell you before save states, I don't know how in the hell anyone would do this. There are so many leaps of faith, and oh look at that, I jumped instead of simply falling down this shaft. So I fucking died because I broke the stones. Wow, just wow. How was I supposed to know that? So it's back to loading up my save state to try again. And if you were playing this on original hardware, you wouldn't be able to try again. Big surprise. And there is only 1 emerald monitor in each zone's Act 1 and 2. Except for the final zone, Atomic Destroyer Zone, which has none. I'm sorry, but this is and will always be the most annoying design flaw of any Sonic game. So basically, you only get 2 tries per emerald. Now, if you say, well, you need to get good with multiple playthroughs, I'm gonna slap you. At least one thing that makes this better is when you get hit, you don't lose all your rings, you only lose some of them. And this makes it a lot easier to meet the 50 ring quota when you find an emerald monitor. So I will give the developers that. I do like the ancient mystical design of the special stage temples, and the music is fantastic, but I have no desire to keep playing these over and over again. But guess what? Thanks to save states, I actually collected all the emeralds. And I will say, actually getting to fight Fang and actually getting to see him before the final level is a nice unintentional reward, because the actual reward is complete bullshit. Not seeing Fang laugh at you and get the luxurious honor of watching the credits as Sonic and Tails are on a tornado, yeah, that's not worth the trouble at all. So let's delve into these zones and see what Triple Trouble has to offer, and I'm glad to be able to say these levels are longer and better designed than those in Sonic Chaos. Great Turquoise Zone. Well, I guess they didn't feel like getting too creative here right off the bat, because Sonic Chaos had Turquoise Hill Zone, and it's basically another Green Hill Zone clone. So what else is new? I don't know what it is, but still to this day, if there isn't a first level that in some way resembles Green Hill Zone, it's almost sacrilege at this point. Blasphemer! It's a classically designed zone with loops and slopes, and you can actually spring off any of the palm trees, and you'll learn that you have a new ability. You can actually roll into a ball if you hit the jump button in midair after bouncing off of a spring, and you can use a flying spin attack on enemies. It actually really makes sense for Sonic to have this in his moveset because bouncing off springs always left you vulnerable almost to a ridiculous degree. And I'm not sure why this wasn't implemented into future Sonic games. I'm actually even further surprised that a game like Sonic Mania with so many references to past games missed this golden opportunity. The first boss has you use this ability in order to defeat him, and I really like that. There's a new mechanic, so why not make it mandatory to use it in the first stage? Or you could be like me the first time I played this game and not even know you have the move to begin with. And before we move on to the next stage, I just want to say, I really love this cheeky animation that Sonic does on the title cards and for his idle animation. It fits his attitude and personality so well. It's so well animated and charming. I absolutely love little details like this. Sunset Park, a very original amusement park theme stage with roller coasters, which was very unique for the time, and I really like this zone. It's a cool visual to ride these coasters over exploding bombs and down these slopes. We did have Sonic 3's Carnival Night Zone at this point, but you didn't get to ride on any traditional amusement park set pieces like roller coasters or Ferris wheels. I still think this concept has untapped potential, and we did see it most recently in Sonic Superstars, but I think implementing more real-life amusement park rides to the mix would be really fun. Act 3 sees a major deviation in style as we are locked into an auto-scroller stage on a train as we get this adrenaline pumping tune, which is a great example of just how awesome this OST is. And we come upon the boss, which is a self-aware locomotive that we simply need to hit 3 times to achieve victory. And Jesus Christ, this guy has a name, but it was only named in the Japanese instruction booklet, so we couldn't get a more sensible localized name. Well, here goes with the pronunciation. Marv Shoopopoulos Goo? Dear Lord, why didn't they just localize it to Big Choo Choo or something? Meta Junglera Zone. Well, that's a unique name for a zone, and it's definitely a less harrowing experience than the jungle-themed zone in the 8-bit Sonic 1. It's so infuriating if you goof up and press the jump button when you acquire the pogo spring, because if you do, and you're Sonic, you're not getting to the Emerald Monitor in Act 2, which is straight up bullshit. I really dislike this one and done design style because you already have to contend with maintaining 50 rings and actually completing the stage. The boss is as goofy as can be, and the name is even goofier. Wood Butter Rundorf? What the hell kind of name is that? Well, it's kind of funny, definitely a better name than what they gave the locomotive, but still goofy as hell. Once you down this guy, he'll explode, and you will get this really creative second phase where the boss is gone, and you still need to dodge the explosions that are occurring in the aftermath of his defeat. Robotnik Winter Zone. This is the only time the name Robotnik actually made it into a zone name, and this is a really cool stage, and the aesthetic is beautiful. If you're playing as Sonic, you'll be able to break open a monitor and boogie down the slopes on his jet board, but once you lose it, that's it. And it expands on the cutscene in Ice Cap Zone in Sonic 3, where you weren't able to have any control at all over Sonic's movement. So, the boss is a big penguin badnik, and God. What is this guy's name? Giga Thomas Penn? What in the Mobius? Did Eggman and Sean Penn collab on this badnik or something? Title Plant Zone. Well, Triple Trouble somehow, some way managed to stick another Labyrinth Zone style level into these 8-bit games. Granted, the aesthetic is a bit different considering it is an industrial setting, drawing some inspiration no doubt from Title Tempest Zone from Sonic CD and Chemical Plant Zone, especially with these tubes. This is without a doubt the hardest level in the game. You'll ride in these bubbles just like you did it in the 8-bit Sonic 2, and I swear the hit detection is fucked here because these spiky balls that drop down on you and these snake badniks are hitting me, and I know for a fact I wasn't even touching them by a long shot. You could fit a goddamn tractor trailer between me and this snake. What gives? I really enjoy the serene music here, and Knuckles is the boss you'll encounter, and he's decently challenging. Atomic Destroyer Zone, well, that name is just badass, and it's fucking Tube Mania, baby! Because there's tubes as far as the eye can see, and this stage concept is definitely way better implemented than it was in the 8-bit Sonic 2, because having a tube drop you onto a badnik generator is far more reasonable than dropping you into a pit of spikes. Plus, here you will remain in launchers until you choose a direction you want to go in. So you get time to think, and you don't have to choose a direction while inside a tube, which probably resulted in far less smashed Game Gears being shipped to Sega for repair. Once you make it to Act 3, you'll encounter Metal Sonic, and it's crazy to think that this is the first time you fight him in a normal fight, and not race against him like you did in Sonic CD. It's pretty cool that they surprise you with him after already jam-packing 3 antagonists into the game as it is. Fang will make a brief appearance before Eggman scares him off, and you'll do battle with him in 4 different phases, which are all very manageable. You'll then rescue Knuckles and obtain the Chaos Emerald Eggman was holding on to. So that's that. That's it for Sonic Triple Trouble, and I'm pleased to say it's my favorite 8-bit Sonic game. It just reduced a lot of the annoying stuff that was a bit too clunky and unfairly difficult in the first 2 8-bit entries, and beefed up the bare bones approach in Sonic Chaos and still maintained the same great graphics without the grueling slowdown. It really feels like they tweaked a lot of stuff and got most of it right. Well, besides some of these special stages, which could have used a bit of tweaking as well to be way more fair, but what's done is done, and luckily there's a fan-made 16-bit remake of Triple Trouble called Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit that I'll be taking a look at in a future video. Yeah, that one is a bit too special to be tacked onto this video, as it's got all different level design and a lot of other differences, so look for that video very soon. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Where do you think Sonic Triple Trouble ranks among all the other 8-bit Sonic games? Is it your favorite? Is it your least favorite? I would love to know your rankings below, so let's discuss it. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell to get auto notifications when I post all my new videos. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the dislike button if you fucking hated it. And I would appreciate any donations that you could give on Patreon. And I want to thank all my subscribers for your continued support. And thanks again, guys. I will see you next time.